Hello, YouTube. It is Wednesday morning, October 19th, 2022, 6:12 a.m. Normally I'm home by now, but I stayed at Amazon a little later than normal. I had to go potty. Just saying. And that cost me getting caught in traffic. Yeah, by the time I hit the parking lot and looked at the Google traffic,
major freeway interchanges.
Speaking of traffic, here's Detour Dan.
I-10 near Fairway Drive, just west of the 101 Alfrea. There's brake lights from the 101 Alfrea all the way to Fairway Drive for the wreck off right. Northbound 101 Pima Freeway near McKellips. The right lanes are blocked. This is caused to back up. Back from the 202 Redmount Freeway interchange. And hopefully, daylight's just around the corner. Maybe we'll start seeing things a little better here in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, there's a third freeway crash in a transition ramp. Westbound US 60 transition ramp to the westbound I-10. Westbound 60 to westbound 10, wrecking the ramp, and a solid 1 mile delay approaching that crash too. You also got a crash, Grand Avenue and Bethany Home Road, and there's a second alarm fire this morning, 27th Avenue north of Bethany Home Road. This traffic report brought to you by the law offices of Donald W. Hudspeth, starting a business with more than 25 years of business.
Wow, I didn't mention the accident that I went through. It was mentioned in the last traffic report. It was a car-motorcycle accident on Buckeye Road. I read exactly where. I want to say like near 51st Avenue, but it wasn't like in a major mile arterial. It was like one of the side streets that kind of goes off into a warehouse district. Yeah, you could never get me to ride a motorcycle on the streets of Phoenix. Just no way. I mean, there are places I've lived where I would consider doing it, but yeah, this is just not one of them. Just not one of them. Sunrise looking really cool right now, although I'm hoping to be home before the sun actually gets over the horizon. Hoping to do it. So yeah, by the time I got to the I want to say it was probably quarter to 6 by the time I got to the parking lot and heading out of Amazon, and by then just I-10 was just a wall of traffic all the way from probably Loop 101 all the way in to at least all the way downtown, right through the tunnel. So didn't even mess with it. And I was seriously thinking about going to the Whataburger at I-17 and 19th Avenue. So I decided to go down Buckeye instead of Van Buren, which is usually my alternative when I-10 is all jammed up. But yeah, I took Van Buren to Loop 202 1 mile south to Buckeye. Came in on Buckeye, and that's what got me going through the motorcycle accident. I stopped at a Circle K. I'm not sure exactly where it was. I want to say 51st. They're 51st and 43rd, and Buckeye. And they're remodeling the inside. They had no soda fountain at all. And the whole reason I stopped was to get my daily sip and save drink on the way home, and then my $1 Circle K branded snack to go with it. Because they're discounted. They're like between $1.69 and $2, and then they discounted it to $1 with the drink. It was like, wow, I managed to pick the one Circle K that has no soda fountain at all. Whoops. Anyway, as I was on my way towards Whataburger, I realized that I had stopped and got finally got a loaf of bread on the way to. Oh wow! I wish I had a camera facing west right now. Oh my God, that looks so cool, and I can't really stop to get an image of it. I'll try and turn my camera. I really shouldn't do this while I'm driving, but check that out. I'm loving how all the glass towers are reflecting the glow on the horizon. That's insanely cool. wish I could have got a better view of that, but wow, it looks way better in person. It's like turn my head to the left, and just the whole downtown Phoenix skyline is just like this. All the reflective glass buildings are just like this cool shade of orange against the dark blue sky behind them. It's insanely cool. Well, I never really noticed all those new pack and stack apartments on the left here. Supposed to be along 20th Street, just south of Roosevelt, on the east side of 20th Street. I haven't gone through that area in quite a while. I have to check that out. Used to be a really insanely tough part of town, mostly due to the projects that are over there. Used to be like a really heavy, violent drug and gang area, but I do believe the area's been gentrifying quite a bit lately. So anyway, as I was getting closer to Whataburger, I figured I'd save my money since I bought a loaf of bread on the way to work, and I got ham and cheese while I went shopping at Costco with Priscilla on Friday evening. So just ran out of bread really quick, so I haven't been able to make more sandwiches. So one thing that's kind of tough for me, like trying to get groceries during my Amazon work week, just because when I get off, grocery stores aren't open yet. I mean, I don't know, maybe some of them open at 6, but a lot of them don't open until 7. And I don't know, I just found if I don't go home and get in bed, I end up staying awake way too late into the day. And the last 2 nights, I've just been really exhausted after work, so staying up and going and getting groceries just didn't sound appealing at all. I stopped at the 99-cent only store on the way to work last night. Ended up being about 8 minutes late to work just because the checkout line at the 99-cent only store was super slow and long, which I guess I should have expected, but not sweating it, no big deal. I can always put, 6. I can handle, 8 minutes of PTO and get paid for that. I just got to make sure that I do that on the app as soon as I get home, so I don't space it off, lose an hour of UPT over it. But been an interesting week at work so far this week, and I haven't really mentioned it in my vlog. I haven't really been shooting too many videos. I mean, at the moment, I'm still uploading stuff from Sunday night, just because I shot a bunch of little short videos, and I'm trying to put them together into longer videos, and that always ends up, it's just the whole process of trying to clear off enough space to export it, and then moving stuff back and forth between the cloud and YouTube, and of course the Wi-Fi at Amazon is brutally slow. But yeah, I haven't said much about what's going on at work. So Sunday, pretty normal. Pretty much water spidered the entire night. Lately, when I've been water spidering, I've been putting most of my focus, water spidering and inbound, I've been putting most of my focus into doing pallet receive, which is basically the stuff that's going to the outbound docks, which is where I had been driving prior to getting suspended from forklift driving. So that was like the last few days that I was working over there, with the exception of the one day I did totes and knocked 2 totes over, which is what I got suspended over. I remember the first day Alex was having me do it, and I was just so overwhelmed and confused by, I don't know, sometimes when people ask me to do stuff, it'll be explained to me in a way that's just overwhelming to me. Oh wow, the warehouse directly to my left is finally getting renovated, and it's got like all new glass in the old shell of the building. It looks really cool. It's getting the same kind of reflective. Actually, I can stop and show you all that. It's getting that same neat reflective effect in the windows. Oh, and my camera does not do it justice. That same neat reflective effect of the sun coming over the horizon in it. Yeah, it's all brand new windows. Last time I looked over there, that was like a stripped out shell of a building. So not sure what's going in there, and it's very possible it's just being renovated to, you know, hopefully just put it up for rent and find a tenant. But wow, yeah, those new windows and the way they framed them, that makes that look like a brand new building. That looks really cool. Anyway, so yeah, Sunday. So yeah, as I was saying, when the last week or two that I had been driving forklift, Alex had been showing me how to do that, and at first I was just really confused and overwhelmed by it. It was when I'd been loading trucks before in outbound. Basically, the water spiders were sorting everything out for me, so I'd just be taking from loading zones directly in front of the doors, and I might have 2 or 3 different doors that I'm working that are going to different destinations, but the stuff going to that destination is right opposite of it. You know, when there's enough things there to make some progress on it, I make some progress on it, and then, you know, when those zones are emptied, then I, you know, would basically go work on totes until the water spiders filled up the zones again. Whereas on the south side outbound docks, doing sorting out pallet receive, it's all in these different loading zones that are kind of in between inbound and outbound, and that's something I never really messed with much, even as a inbound water spider. There were generally other people that did that, and I mean, occasionally, like, somebody would ask me, "Hey, can you move all these over there?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." But then I would go back to, you know, whatever I was doing, which is, you know, closer to the pit lines. But anyway, at first it was really confusing to me, and then after a while I realized kind of what the workflow was, and then, you know, after I got suspended from driving forklift and went back to working in inbound, like, it kind of changed stuff, because then I went back, and of course, just wanting to throw on the line because that's easier and less headache. But I always kind of get drafted into water spiring just because I'm good at it, and I have a lot more knowledge of, like, the workflow in the area and what things go where, and I can look at a row of pallets and kind of get an idea just from looking at it what needs to be done with it, where it needs to go, you know, what its status is as far as, you know, whether it's been processed or not, or when it's going to get processed. And it's kind of a running joke, like when Derek was there, it's like, or one time he was trying to micromanage me, and I'm like, "Hey, let me tell you a secret." He goes, "What?" It's like, if I'm pulling a pallet jack, you really need to leave me alone, because I'm actually running this area. I said it so deadpan and serious, and in my head I kind of was serious, just because when I'm water spiring, I do kind of, like, I'll be telling the managers, "Hey, this is ready and this is ready," and I'll be open and closing and pulling gates, which not all the water spiders do, just because I'm so aware of how everything works in that department. And also, you know, since I've worked also as a forklift operator in that department, I also make an effort to, you know, I'm very cognizant of when there are trucks with product and the forklift driver can't unload them because the loading zones are congested. You know, so a lot of times when other water spiders are bringing out product, I'll be focused more on just kind of sorting out the area to make the maximum amount of space for it, so the forklift driver can resume unloading the truck that's in front of it. And it's kind of funny, like, even with me as a water spider, a lot of times they'll tell me which is something that's normally not told to a water spider, but they'll tell me which oh, I gotta clean out my truck so bad, car so bad. They'll tell me which. Bags of stuff from the 99-cent only store here. Some impulse buy. I don't even know how good those are going to be. In an aisle it wasn't even supposed to be, and I'm like, oh, that looks delicious. Just grabbed it. It used to be at the 99-cent only store. I never had to think about how expensive things were when I would grab it like that. And now with food items, they've not. Yeah, the days of everything being 99 cents there with food items, those days are gone. Don't get me wrong, I still love shopping there, but it just is what it is. Food inflation has been ridiculous lately. Oh, I don't see any stray kitties hanging around outside. I don't feed them as diligently as Priscilla did, so they don't linger waiting for food like they used to. That one does, though. Oh, I know you expect me to drop what I'm doing right now and feed you, don't you? Don't you? Meow, meow. And Princess Sheba too. You have to wait. The cat's just gonna have to wait. I still haven't found a home for that silly record. I'm still working on karaoke over here too. Been downloading more stuff from the Karaoke Nerds channel. Just love the content those guys are putting up. Probably gonna do spend another couple hours working on Death Cab for Cutie karaoke. It's just recently pulled from their channel a really good karaoke version for Company Calls Epilogue, which is not a very popular song, but it's certainly a personal favorite of mine. So yeah, I want that. Actually, I worked on Cheap Trick yesterday. I had 3 songs that I had ready to go for Cheap Trick. I only managed to find the time to work on 2 of them, since it's the version I got for Gonna Raise Hell is actually the full length version of the song, which is like 9 minutes. That's you're awfully demanding, cat. What? Like, follow me, come feed me. Anyway, so yeah, the kind of an odd thing that happened on Sunday at work at Amazon was kind of getting to my flow, and a lot of that includes moving pallet receive stuff over to the inbound zones where they sort them from. And apparently, since the weather was so bad over the weekend, a lot of trucks got canceled due to it just being just so much storm and rain that they couldn't open the docks and they couldn't dock trucks. And we just had a bunch of cargo going to one specific location that had to go somewhere. That's the thing, like everything has to go somewhere. And so much stuff getting moved around, and they ended up, like right at the beginning of my shift, I'm moving some stuff to where I regularly move it. And I had 2 managers like, no, don't put anything there. And I'm like, well, where am I supposed to put it? Oh, we're not bringing anything over. And go tell the PA that we can't move anything over here. I'm like, really? You want me to tell her that? That's going to go over well. And it was funny because I mentioned that to somebody else. They're like, it's really weird. Level 1's telling level 3's what needs to be done and how things need to be moved. I'm like, yeah, I know that's kind of odd. I said, but at this point, like, just everybody believes me when I say stuff like that, because usually I know what's going on. But yeah, I ended up kind of, since I do work both in inbound and outbound, and even though technically I was working for inbound at the time, I kind of was working directly with the PA over in outbound, and then also with a couple of the drivers, just to like, hey, can you let me know what you guys are loading so I can get it to you faster. So since I didn't have the place to put it where they would normally sort it from, I was actually bringing everything that was going directly to trucks they were loading to the loading zones, as if I was outbound water spider, even though I'm an inbound water spider, and it really made a difference. Like we for that area, we greatly exceeded what they wanted us to hit that day, and managed to take care of that god awful backlog that was caused from the day. In fact, I was talking to another manager who I didn't meet until today. Oh my God, did we get off on the wrong foot today too? Basically, he started, his first thing to me was chewing me out for doing a job that I'm supposed to be doing with gloves on, with my gloves off. And instead of doing what a normal level 1 Amazon associate would do and just say, oh, sorry, yes, sir, and putting him on, I defended my choice to do what I was doing with the gloves off after proudly proclaiming that, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be doing this with gloves on, but I don't. But it's anyway, him and I actually had a good talk, and I wish I could remember his name, because I think, although I think we initially got off on the wrong foot, like, we ended up having like a really positive conversation, and then I was telling him what I was doing on Sunday and stuff. He's like, oh, so you put that together? He goes, yeah, that was amazing. I said, I said, I'm sorry, I don't want to come off like I'm just some random asshole that just appeared in your department, but yeah, and I dropped some names of some higher ups. I said, talk to those guys. They'll tell you. It's like, I'm kind of, I'm here to learn. I'm here to do my own thing, but I kind of just need you to kind of trust that nobody wants to protect my hands more than I do. But there are some things it's sensitive hands. Anyway, so what got me in his department, Monday night, because I just finished off Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Monday night, got in there, and I want to say maybe an hour and a half into my shift, somebody was like, hey, they want you over in learning. And I was expecting that meant they were finally going to retrain me for forklift, so I can go back to forklift driving. And come to find out, I've been hearing from a lot of different people about mandatory cross training, that they want to make sure that everybody that works in a home area is trained in other home areas, and and never mind what I do in inbound, because for the most, or in outbound, I mean, since that's pretty forklift specific. But I don't really know how they're deciding to what areas to assign. But mostly when people from inbound have disappeared from inbound for like a week or two, and then I'll run into a break. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm at decant. God, I fucking hate it." Or I'm at this, and they'll say where they're at, and generally they're like, "Yeah, I hate it. They're making me cross train." And every time somebody else would tell me that, I'm like, I don't know how I've been escaping that. I think it's just because they've got me flagged in the system as a pit driver. Yes, I will feed you, Sambo. Take a chill pill. I think the cat is hungry. Yes, I will feed you. Chillax. I'll feed you soon. Anyway, that finally came for me. And while I was there, of course, I was asking the learning department, I'm like, wait a minute, well, what about my retrain for... I was promised Sunday. Now, I've been promised 2 other times that it was going to happen, and it hasn't happened, and that's not even counting, like, the last time that I was suspended. So, I'm, knock on wood, it actually happens this Sunday, and she did say that it would take precedent over my cross-training in, I think it's called Prep and Receive, is the area that I've been in the last 2 days. Well, just a little bit less than 2 days. In the area where I was just... basically like, no, I'm not going to put on gloves for this. If it's going to be a deal breaker, I should just leave this department. But anyway, I've been, aside from that minor clash, I've been doing really well in the department. It's different. There are people that like it. There are people that hate it. There are things I like about it. There are things I don't like about it. It is an area where you are tracked, and your productivity is tracked by computer, and I'm not so fond of that. I did see a lot of people stressing about, oh, well, what about your rate and your rate and your rate? And my take on rate is, I know I have a strong work ethic, and as a general rule, I work as fast and efficiently as I can. If that doesn't meet their rate, tough shit. If I'm inadequate, if the rate I work at is not up to what you all want from me in this position, then move me to a different position. I take it or leave it. Yes, I see you, Cat. Anyway, it's been interesting, and I feel like I've done some stuff kind of well. And at a couple points, like, it seemed like I was doing stuff a little bit different. And then when the trainer would ask me like why I was doing that, and I would explain to my logic, he's like, seemed just amazed that I was thinking way beyond like what they typically train people to do in that. And he's like, that's great. That's amazing that you're thinking that far ahead. But basically what I'm doing is unpacking cases of goods and loading totes, which go off to other actual fulfillment centers. As I've explained before, where I work is not actually a fulfillment center, but it's a distribution center. Anyway, it never ceases to amaze me, the variety of products that go through our warehouse. At one point, I think I processed 6 cases of premium sex lube. Good times. And for the most part, what I had to do was just put stickers on all the individual little containers of sex lube. And I believe I could have taken them out of the cases that we're in, but I just thought the best way to get them to where they were going without damaging the package was to put them back into cases and then put the cases in the totes, since the cases fit in the totes. And a lot of times they're looking for discretion on stuff like that. And anyway, I feel like I'm doing pretty well on there, and I think I even got to the point where the one manager's like, okay, yeah, what you're saying makes sense. He goes, just please make an effort to put them on. I said, I definitely will. And he did come back over and notice sometimes I have them on and sometimes I don't. And he did say, if safety comes over and they call you out on it, he goes, and they ask me, I'm going to tell them that I told you they need to be on at all times. And I'm like, I wouldn't expect you to do anything else. I'll take the heat, whatever. But anyway, it's been kind of interesting. I am using a computer terminal. It's kind of a dumb computer terminal. Sometimes there are things in the software that are nuts. Anyway, this is probably boring as hell hearing about what I'm doing at Amazon, but that's what's been going on. I've been promised Sunday. In fact, I was told when I come in next week, Sunday, to go directly to learning. She's going to be ready to hit me with pit training. And tomorrow I'm going to spend another day in prep and receive. I think that's what that department is called. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble endlessly about my boring job, which for the most part I do actually enjoy. I'm going to feed my impatient cat and my patient cat and work on some karaoke and eat some ham sandwiches until I wind down. But anyway, thanks for joining.